Have you ever wondered whether the simple glass of water you drink every morning is truly doing everything your brain needs? Millions of adults over 60 begin their day believing they are making a healthy choice by reaching for plain water. In one sense, they are absolutely right. Staying hydrated is essential. Every cell in your body depends on it, and your brain is no exception. But what if hydration alone is only part of the story? What if there is a crucial piece of the puzzle that most people never hear about? As we get older, our brains face challenges they never had to deal with decades earlier. The brain you have at 60, 70, or 80 is working under very different conditions than the brain you had at 35. It is constantly fighting the effects of aging, protecting itself from inflammation, maintaining communication between billions of cells, and trying to preserve the memories, skills, and experiences that make you who you are. And to do that effectively, it needs more than water alone. Today, we are going to explore what science has discovered about supporting brain health after 60. We will look at specific ingredients that can be added to your daily routine, foods that nourish the brain from the inside out, and research-backed strategies that may help protect memory, focus, and mental clarity as the years go by. Most importantly, I will share a simple combination near the end that has attracted significant attention for its potential benefits in supporting cognitive health. Before we talk about what to add to your morning routine, it is important to understand what changes inside the brain as we age. This foundation helps explain why certain nutritional choices can make such a meaningful difference. When we are younger, the brain possesses an incredible ability known as neuroplasticity. This is the brain's capacity to adapt, learn new information, form new connections, and recover from challenges. Young brains are remarkably flexible. They can build new pathways quickly and efficiently. But as time passes, that flexibility gradually slows. Brain cells, called neurons, do not communicate quite as rapidly as they once did. The connections linking those neurons can weaken over time. Even the protective covering around nerve fibers, known as myelin, may become thinner with age. These changes do not happen overnight, but they accumulate gradually across the years. Another important change involves the blood-brain barrier. Think of it as a sophisticated security system that helps protect the brain from harmful substances circulating throughout the body. Research suggests that this barrier may become less selective with age, allowing more inflammatory compounds and unwanted substances to influence brain tissue. This is where many people unknowingly fall short. While plain water helps maintain hydration, it does not provide the nutrients, antioxidants, and protective compounds that the aging brain increasingly depends upon. Hydration supports function, but the brain also requires specific building blocks to help manage inflammation, support cellular communication, and maintain healthy neural connections. Perhaps the most encouraging discovery from modern research is that cognitive decline is not simply a predetermined consequence of getting older. Scientists studying aging have repeatedly found that lifestyle choices play a major role in determining how the brain ages. The foods we eat, the nutrients we consume, the quality of our sleep, and even our daily habits can influence how well our brains perform over time. That means the decisions you make every morning matter more than you may realize. What you drink, what you eat, and how you support your body can either help your brain thrive or quietly work against it. One of the biggest hidden threats to brain health after 60 is something many people never notice happening. It does not announce itself loudly. It does not cause immediate pain. Yet it can gradually influence memory, concentration, and mental sharpness in powerful ways. Scientists call it neuroinflammation. And understanding it may change the way you think about brain health forever. Neuroinflammation is one of the most overlooked challenges affecting the aging brain. Unlike an injury that causes immediate pain or swelling, inflammation inside the brain often develops quietly. Most people never realize it is happening. Instead, they notice subtle signs that are easy to dismiss as normal aging. Maybe you walk into a room and suddenly forget why you went there. Perhaps a familiar word sits on the tip of your tongue but refuses to come out. You may find it harder to follow conversations, remember names, or stay mentally focused late in the day. Many people assume these experiences are simply unavoidable consequences of getting older. In reality, inflammation may be playing a much larger role than they realize. What makes neuroinflammation particularly concerning is that it can interfere with the communication network that keeps the brain functioning efficiently. The billions of neurons inside your brain rely on constant communication. When inflammation disrupts that process, memory, focus, and mental clarity can all begin to suffer. This is why researchers have become increasingly interested in natural compounds capable of supporting the brain's defenses. Some nutrients appear to do far more than simply nourish the body. They may actually help reduce inflammatory activity within the brain itself. One of the most studied examples is turmeric. Most people recognize turmeric as the bright yellow spice commonly used in cooking. Some know it for its reputation as a natural aid for joint health. But its potential impact on the brain has attracted growing scientific attention in recent years. The key compound found in turmeric is called curcumin. What makes curcumin particularly interesting is its ability to cross the blood-brain barrier, a characteristic that relatively few natural compounds possess. This allows it to reach brain tissue directly, where researchers believe it may provide several protective effects. One area of interest involves amyloid plaques. These protein accumulations are commonly associated with Alzheimer's disease and other forms of cognitive decline. Studies have suggested that curcumin may help reduce the formation of these plaques while also supporting the body's ability to manage existing accumulations. Researchers have also discovered that curcumin may influence levels of an important substance known as brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. You can think of BDNF as a support system for brain cells. It helps neurons survive, grow, and maintain strong connections with one another. Low levels of BDNF have been linked to memory problems, depression, and age-related cognitive challenges. Higher levels are often associated with better brain function, stronger learning capacity, and improved mental resilience. This is one reason turmeric has become such a popular subject in brain health research. However, there is a significant challenge that many people do not realize. Curcumin is not absorbed very efficiently by the body on its own. Even when consumed regularly, much of it may pass through the digestive system before significant amounts enter the bloodstream. For years, this limited its practical effectiveness. Scientists understood its potential, but absorption remained a major obstacle. Fortunately, researchers eventually discovered a remarkably simple solution: black pepper. More specifically, black pepper contains a natural compound called piperine. When curcumin and piperine are consumed together, the body's ability to absorb curcumin increases dramatically. Some studies have reported absorption improvements of up to 2,000%. That means a tiny pinch of black pepper can transform turmeric from a moderately useful spice into a much more effective nutritional tool. Many people now add half a teaspoon of turmeric and a small pinch of black pepper to warm water as part of their morning routine. It is simple, inexpensive, and supported by a growing body of scientific interest. But this is only the beginning, because there is another ingredient that can elevate this combination even further, creating what researchers often describe as a synergistic effect. In other words, the ingredients work together in ways that produce greater benefits than any one of them could provide alone. Before we reveal that third ingredient, there is another critical topic we need to address. For decades, many people were taught that fat was something to avoid whenever possible. Grocery stores filled their shelves with low-fat products. Health campaigns encouraged people to remove fat from their diets. Entire generations grew up believing that less fat automatically meant better health. Today, the science tells a far more complicated story. In fact, one of the most important nutrients for brain function belongs to a category that many people spent years trying to avoid. And without enough of it, even the healthiest brain-supporting routine may be missing a crucial piece of the puzzle. That crucial piece of the puzzle is healthy fat, specifically omega-3 fatty acids. For years, dietary fat was blamed for a wide range of health problems, and many people worked hard to remove it from their meals. But as research continued to evolve, scientists began uncovering something remarkable. The human brain is made largely of fat. In fact, nearly 60% of its dry weight comes from fatty tissue. That means certain fats are not just beneficial for the brain, they are fundamental to its structure and function. Among the most important are two omega-3 fatty acids known as DHA and EPA. These nutrients play essential roles in maintaining healthy brain cells. DHA in particular serves as a major structural component of neuron membranes. These membranes need to remain flexible so that brain cells can communicate quickly and efficiently. When DHA levels are too low, neuron membranes may become less fluid. As a result, signals do not travel as effectively between brain cells. This can influence memory, processing speed, concentration, and overall cognitive performance. Studies involving older adults have repeatedly found links between healthy omega-3 levels and better brain function. The challenge is that many people consume far more omega-6 fats than omega-3 fats. Omega-6 fatty acids are common in processed foods, fast foods, and many vegetable oils used throughout modern diets. While omega-6 fats are not inherently harmful, an excessive imbalance between omega-6 and omega-3 intake may contribute to inflammatory processes throughout the body. This imbalance has become increasingly common over the past several decades. As a result, many adults reach their senior years without adequate levels of the omega-3 fats their brains depend upon. Fortunately, some of the best dietary sources are both affordable and widely available. Fatty fish such as salmon, sardines, mackerel, herring, and anchovies provide significant amounts of DHA and EPA. Even eating these foods a few times each week can help support brain health in meaningful ways. For those who dislike fish, there are alternatives available through supplements and certain plant-based sources. While plant sources provide different forms of omega-3s that require conversion within the body, they can still contribute to overall nutritional support. As important as omega-3s are, there is another system influencing brain health that many people rarely consider. It is not located inside the skull. It is located inside the digestive system. At first glance, the connection may seem surprising. What could the gut possibly have to do with memory, concentration, or mental clarity? The answer is far more significant than most people realize. Scientists now recognize what is known as the gut-brain axis, a complex communication network linking the digestive system directly to the brain. Messages travel constantly between these two systems, influencing everything from mood and energy levels to inflammation and cognitive performance. One of the most fascinating discoveries involves serotonin, a neurotransmitter associated with mood, emotional balance, and sleep. Many people assume serotonin is primarily produced in the brain. In reality, the vast majority is produced in the digestive tract. Even more remarkable is the role played by the trillions of microorganisms living inside the intestines. Collectively known as the gut microbiome, these bacteria help regulate digestion, immunity, inflammation, and numerous processes connected to brain function. When the microbiome is healthy and diverse, it tends to support beneficial signaling throughout the gut-brain axis. When it becomes imbalanced, inflammatory messages may increase, potentially affecting mental clarity, mood, and cognitive health. Research has shown that individuals with healthier gut microbiomes often experience better outcomes as they age. On the other hand, disruptions in gut bacteria have been associated with increased rates of brain fog, anxiety, depression, and memory-related concerns. The good news is that supporting the microbiome does not require anything exotic or expensive. Fermented foods provide one of the simplest approaches. Foods such as plain yogurt, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, and miso contain beneficial bacteria that help diversify and replenish the gut ecosystem. At the same time, those bacteria need nourishment if they are going to thrive. That nourishment comes from substances known as prebiotics. Prebiotics are specialized fibers that beneficial bacteria use as fuel. They are found in foods such as garlic, onions, leeks, asparagus, bananas, and several other plant foods. By feeding the right bacteria, prebiotics help create an environment that supports both digestive and brain health. Every serving of these foods contributes to a healthier internal ecosystem. And when that ecosystem improves, the brain often benefits alongside it. But among all prebiotic fibers, one particular type has attracted significant scientific interest for its potential effects on cognitive function. Its name is inulin. And what researchers discovered about it may completely change how you think about feeding your brain. Inulin is a naturally occurring prebiotic fiber found in plants such as chicory root, Jerusalem artichokes, dandelion greens, and garlic. While it may not be widely known outside of nutritional science, it has gained increasing attention for its ability to selectively nourish beneficial bacteria in the gut. One of the key strains supported by inulin is Bifidobacterium. These bacteria play an important role in maintaining a balanced gut environment and supporting overall digestive health. But their influence does not stop there. Through the gut-brain axis, changes in gut bacteria can have downstream effects on brain function as well. When Bifidobacterium populations increase, they produce short-chain fatty acids. These compounds have been studied for their ability to reduce inflammation and support metabolic health. Importantly, they also appear to interact with pathways connected to brain function, including those involved in inflammation regulation and neural signaling. A clinical trial conducted at King's College London explored the effects of inulin supplementation in older adults. Over a 12-week period, participants who consumed inulin showed improvements in cognitive performance measures such as attention, processing speed, and memory recall, compared to those who did not receive the supplement. While results vary between individuals, the findings suggest that supporting the gut microbiome through targeted prebiotics may contribute to measurable changes in brain function over time. This does not happen instantly, but through consistent nutritional support that gradually shifts the internal environment of the body. Some people choose to incorporate inulin into their diet through supplements, while others rely on whole food sources. Garlic, onions, and dandelion greens can all contribute naturally, although the concentration of inulin is often higher in extracted forms. Interestingly, some individuals combine inulin with other morning nutritional practices, including turmeric-based drinks. This approach is based on the idea that multiple systems in the body can be supported simultaneously. For example, turmeric targets inflammatory pathways, while inulin supports gut bacteria that indirectly influence brain health. When used together, these elements may complement each other in meaningful ways. As these nutritional strategies come together, a broader picture begins to emerge. Brain health is not dependent on a single nutrient or isolated intervention. Instead, it reflects the combined influence of multiple systems working together, including inflammation control, gut health, and cellular communication. This is where another essential nutrient enters the conversation, one that plays a fundamental role in how brain cells communicate and adapt. Magnesium. Magnesium is involved in hundreds of biochemical reactions throughout the body, but its importance for the nervous system is especially significant. It contributes to nerve transmission, muscle function, energy production, and the regulation of neurotransmitters. However, not all forms of magnesium behave the same way in the body. One particular form, known as magnesium L-threonate, has attracted attention because of its ability to cross the blood-brain barrier more effectively than many other types. This is important because it allows magnesium to directly influence brain tissue rather than acting only in peripheral systems. Research has suggested that magnesium L-threonate may help increase synaptic density. Synapses are the connections between neurons where communication takes place. A higher number of functional synapses is associated with improved learning capacity, memory formation, and cognitive flexibility. In animal and early human studies, increased synaptic density has been linked with improvements in both short-term and long-term memory performance. While research is still developing, the findings point toward a meaningful role for magnesium in supporting brain aging. At the same time, magnesium deficiency is surprisingly common. Studies suggest that a large portion of the population does not meet recommended daily intake levels. This becomes even more relevant with age, as the body's ability to maintain adequate magnesium levels may decline. Dietary sources of magnesium include leafy green vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, and dark chocolate. However, due to modern dietary patterns, many people may not consistently obtain enough from food alone. As a result, magnesium has become a focus of interest in discussions about cognitive aging and brain support strategies. When nutrients like turmeric, omega-3 fatty acids, prebiotic fibers such as inulin, and magnesium are considered together, a more complete picture of brain support begins to form. Each one contributes to a different aspect of brain function, whether it is inflammation control, structural support, microbial balance, or neural communication. But even with all of this in place, there is still one factor that can quietly undermine everything discussed so far if it is not properly addressed. And it is something that affects nearly every aspect of modern health, especially after the age of 60. That factor is blood sugar. Blood sugar management is often discussed in relation to diabetes and metabolic health, but its influence on the brain is just as important. In fact, emerging research has increasingly linked long-term blood sugar imbalance with cognitive decline and accelerated brain aging. When blood sugar levels spike repeatedly, the body responds with a cascade of inflammatory signals. Over time, this chronic inflammation does not remain limited to one area. It spreads throughout the body, including the brain, where it can interfere with normal cellular function. High blood sugar also affects the delicate network of small blood vessels that supply oxygen and nutrients to brain tissue. These vessels are essential for keeping neurons healthy and active. When they are damaged or weakened, the brain's ability to function efficiently can gradually decline. Another process influenced by elevated blood sugar is glycation. This occurs when sugar molecules bind to proteins in the body, altering their structure and making them less functional. In brain tissue, this can contribute to stiffness in cellular structures and reduced efficiency in neural communication. Over time, these changes may impact memory, learning ability, and cognitive processing speed. Some researchers have even referred to Alzheimer's disease as type 3 diabetes due to the strong connections observed between insulin resistance and cognitive decline in the brain. While this term is not a formal medical diagnosis, it reflects growing scientific interest in how metabolic health and brain health are deeply interconnected. Large-scale studies tracking thousands of individuals over long periods have found that those with chronically elevated blood sugar levels tend to experience faster rates of cognitive decline compared to those with stable levels. Importantly, this relationship appears to exist on a spectrum, meaning that even moderate elevations that do not meet the threshold for diabetes can still have measurable effects over time. This makes daily dietary choices especially important. Foods high in refined sugars and processed carbohydrates can contribute to repeated spikes in blood glucose. Over time, these spikes may create a pattern of metabolic stress that affects not only energy levels but also brain function. At the same time, there is another system in the body that plays a surprisingly important role in brain health and is often overlooked in everyday conversations. That system is the liver. The liver is responsible for filtering toxins from the bloodstream, metabolizing nutrients, processing fats, and supporting hormone balance. It plays a central role in maintaining overall metabolic stability, which in turn affects brain health more than most people realize. When liver function is under strain, toxins and metabolic byproducts may circulate longer in the body than they should. Some of these compounds can eventually reach the brain, where they may contribute to oxidative stress and inflammation. The liver also plays a role in cholesterol regulation. This is important because cholesterol is not just a dietary concern, it is also a structural component of the brain. Healthy brain cells rely on cholesterol to maintain membrane integrity and proper signaling. Supporting liver health can therefore indirectly support brain function as well. Certain lifestyle and dietary factors have been studied for their potential benefits to liver function. Bitter greens such as arugula, endive, and dandelion greens may help stimulate bile production. Milk thistle has also been researched for its protective effects on liver cells. Even simple habits such as drinking warm water with lemon in the morning are often discussed in the context of supporting digestive and liver processes. When liver support is combined with nutritional strategies for brain health, such as turmeric with black pepper, omega-3 rich foods, and prebiotic fibers, the overall effect becomes more integrated. Multiple systems begin working together rather than in isolation. At this stage, it becomes clear that brain health is not controlled by a single factor. It is the result of interconnected systems involving metabolism, digestion, inflammation, and cellular communication. And this brings us back to the central idea that has been building throughout this entire discussion. The brain is not a passive organ that simply declines with age. It is responsive, adaptive, and highly dependent on the environment we create for it through daily choices. But even with this understanding, there is still one final layer that ties everything together. One simple combination that brings together several of the mechanisms we have discussed into a single morning habit. And it may be the most practical step you can take starting tomorrow.